All right, let's just dive right in. The Indian Premier League is not just a cricket tournament. It is this massive, continent-spanning cultural phenomenon. We are talking about billions of dollars, tens of millions of viewers tuning in from across the globe, and 2 grueling months of relentless competition. But what happens when all of that monumental skill, all that money, and all those months of strategy are abruptly funneled into a single moment? I want you to picture the visceral image of Virat Kohli dropping to his knees, tears streaming down his face, as the crushing weight of nearly 2 decades of anticipation finally just lifts. Or try to imagine the sheer, suffocating suspense of an entire championship coming down to a single, solitary run, or a desperate, massive six hit off the very final ball of the tournament. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to explore the absolute razor-thin margins of victory and the intense human stories behind them. We'll be taking a deeply focused journey through 3 of the most historic, emotionally charged finals ever played.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The magic of finals. 2. 2019, the one-run miracle. 3. 2023, rain and final balls. 4. 2025, an 18-year wait. And finally, 5. The price of passion. Section 1. The magic of finals, high stakes, and human emotion.
During the regular season, cricket can sometimes feel like this giant game of pure statistics and long-term strategy. Teams are constantly calculating net run rates, managing player workloads, and always looking at the big picture. But when you reach the final, all of that logic transforms into intense, concentrated human drama right there on the pitch. The margin for error effectively shrinks to absolute zero. Think about the psychology of a final for a second. These players are operating under the deafening roar of 100,000 fans. They're battling the deep physical fatigue of a 2-month-long tournament. When 2 heavyweight teams clash for the ultimate title, it is no longer just about who has the better technique or the most expensive roster. It is entirely about who can hold their nerve when every single run, every unexpected drop of rain, and every racing heartbeat truly counts.
Section 2. 2019, the one-run miracle. Mumbai Indians versus Chennai Super Kings.
This specific clash is essentially an energetic highlight reel of everything that makes the sport incredible. It's defined by literally the narrowest possible finish you can have in cricket. Look, when Mumbai and Chennai meet, the cricketing world stops. It is the definitive rivalry. Mumbai batted first, scratching and clawing their way to 149 for 8, and their allotted 20 overs. It wasn't a massive total by any means, and it seemed entirely chaseable for a legendary lineup. And Chennai almost did it, anchored by an absolute masterclass from Shane Watson. Despite battling visible fatigue and an injury, Watson fought through to score a valiant 80 runs off just 59 balls, smashing 8 fours and 4 sixes. Yet, somehow, against all odds, Chennai Super Kings fell agonizingly short, finishing at 148 for 7.
Just one single, solitary run. I really want the sheer absurdity of that margin to sink in for a moment. After weeks of grueling competition, traveling thousands of miles back and forth across the entire country, playing 14 high-intensity group stage matches, and battling through the playoffs, the entire 2019 championship was decided by a margin of 1 run. It's basically the equivalent of running a full marathon and winning by a fraction of a millimeter. Every missed field, every wide ball, every extra run taken in the very first over of the match suddenly carries the unbearable weight of a championship.
So how exactly did Mumbai pull off that miraculous defense? Well, it required absolute precision and a cinematic redemption arc. Jasprit Bumrah rightfully secured the Player of the Match award with a terrifyingly tight bowling spell. He took 2 wickets for just 14 runs in his 4 overs, completely strangling the run flow. But the true narrative drama, that came down to the very last delivery, bowled by Lassit Malinga. Now, Malinga had been unusually expensive earlier in the match, getting hit for 20 runs in his 16th over. He was under immense fire. Yet, tasked with defending just 2 runs on the final ball of the tournament, he delivered a legendary dipping slower Yorker, perfectly trapping Shardul Thakur leg before wicket. Redemption was achieved on the spot, and just like that, Mumbai secured their 4th title in a breathtaking finish.
Section 3. 2023, rain and final balls. The Chennai Super Kings' 5th title.
Okay, so if 2019 was all about defending a total, 2023 was about chasing one down against all possible odds, including Mother Nature. This was a grueling, multi-day saga that tested the psychological endurance of every single player and fan in that Ahmedabad stadium. Imagine the build-up, the pure adrenaline, only for day one to be completely washed out by unrelenting rain. Fans were forced to just go home and wait 48 hours for a reserve day, which, by the way, was a first for an IPL final. On that reserve day, the Gujarat Titans came out completely unbothered by the delay. They posted a massive 214 for 4, driven by Sai Siddharthan's spectacular 96. But then, almost incredibly, the rain returned. This led to a delay of over an hour, plunging everyone into the confusion and psychological warfare of DLS math. The target was severely revised. Suddenly, Chennai had to chase 171 runs in just 15 overs. It became a completely different match entirely.
The chase was frantic, brutal, and came down to the absolute wire. 10 runs needed off the final 2 deliveries. Mohit Sharma is bowling. The tension in that stadium is genuinely suffocating. Ravindra Jadeja is on strike. Sharma steams in, and Jadeja hoists the penultimate delivery straight back over long off for a massive, spectacular 6. The stadium absolutely erupts. Suddenly, it is 4 runs needed off one single ball. Sharma bowls again, slightly down the leg side, and Jadeja deftly flicks it behind the leg stump for a boundary. In a span of 2 deliveries, Jadeja snatched a seemingly impossible victory right from the jaws of defeat, securing MS Dhoni's squad their record-equaling 5th IPL title and permanently cementing his name in cricketing lore.
Section 4. 2025, an 18-year wait. Royal Challengers Bengaluru's historic win.
We are now shifting gears to a deeply emotional narrative. You really have to understand the sheer desperation surrounding this 2025 final. On one side, you had Royal Challengers Bangalore, a beloved franchise carrying the unimaginably heavy burden of an 18-year title drought. Their fan base had endured nearly 2 decades of near misses and heartbreak. On the other side, the Punjab Kings were enduring an 11-year drought of their own, making their first final appearance in over a decade. The stakes literally couldn't have been higher or more emotionally taxing. One team was guaranteed to finally make history and break their curse, while the other was going to face a very familiar, deeply ingrained heartbreak on the world's absolute biggest stage.
The emotional anchor of this historic victory was none other than Virat Kohli. After maintaining an incredible, unwavering loyalty to a single franchise for almost 20 years, he finally crossed the finish line. As the last wicket fell, Kohli dropped to his knees, totally overwhelmed by tears of pure relief and joy. His post-match reflection really said it all. "Tonight, I'll sleep like a baby. I've given this team my youth, prime, and experience. I've tried to win it every season, gave it everything I have. To finally have it is an unbelievable feeling." It was a moment of profound catharsis, not just for him, but for millions of fans worldwide.
So, how did Bengaluru finally conquer their demons? Well, they set a target of 191 and defended it by 6 runs in a highly clinical team effort. A major piece of this puzzle was Krunal Pandya. Earlier in the season, Pandya had made an audacious, highly public promise to the fans that they must win the trophy. He basically put a massive target on his own back, but he delivered under the brightest lights, taking 2 crucial wickets and earning Player of the Match honors. He was backed by a masterclass of disciplined pace bowling from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Josh Hazelwood, and Yesh Dayal, all of whom simply refused to crack under the immense pressure. Ultimately, it was Captain Roger Patidar who had the profound honor of hoisting Bengaluru's very first maiden trophy into the night sky.
Section 5. The Price of Passion. When fanaticism turns to tragedy. As we shift our focus to the aftermath of Bengaluru's historic win, the narrative takes a dark and sobering turn that really requires respectful reflection. The euphoria of that long-awaited victory quickly met with devastating real-world consequences. A massive victory parade was organized at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. However, the sheer unprecedented volume of passionate fans pouring into the streets to celebrate led to a catastrophic failure in crowd management. The massive gathering escalated into a terrifying crush and stampede. Tragically, 7 people lost their lives in the chaos, including a child, and over 25 individuals sustained significant injuries. In the wake of this profound tragedy, the BCCI has stepped in and is actively questioning the event organizers, seeking serious answers as to how a celebration of this magnitude was allowed to spiral so completely out of control.
It leaves us with a heavy, yet incredibly necessary question to reflect on. Where is the exact line between passion and peril? Sports possess this unique, almost unparalleled ability to elevate the human spirit. They give us moments of unbelievable shared triumph, like a miraculous one-run defense, or the ultimate catharsis of an 18-year dream finally realized. But, as we have so tragically seen, unchecked fanaticism carries an incredibly high, very real cost. The highs are unimaginably high, but the lows can be devastatingly permanent. Thank you for joining me on this explainer. I hope it's given you a clearer, much deeper understanding of the complex tapestry of drama, glory, and heartbreak that defines these ultimate finals. Until next time, keep learning.
All right, let's